It looks like Xbox is working on an exclusive Star Wars game that could help push their exclusive games to new heights. Is Xbox going to lock down the Star Wars franchise as an exclusive to the Xbox platform? Let's get into this amazing rumor and what insiders say about the next big Star Wars game coming out. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that little bell icon. Alright, let's move on to what actually matters, which is this exclusive Xbox Star Wars game that has been making the rounds as of late. And that game is apparently going to be focused on the huge new Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian. It would seem that Xbox is really locking down a lot of Lucasfilm's games in order to combat some of the huge exclusive games PlayStation has from Marvel, also known as those Spider-Man games that everyone loves. So it doesn't surprise me to see Xbox try and focus on a big franchise like Star Wars or Indiana Jones to help push the Xbox exclusive games to new levels. Here's what the article mentions and what we should expect. Mandalorian game reportedly in development for Microsoft first-party studio Rumor. Microsoft might be working on a Mandalorian game in addition to Indiana Jones from Machine Games, according to a new rumor. Mandalorian is one of the hottest TV shows on Disney Plus, and its popularity already paves the way for someone to adapt it successfully in a video game. This shouldn't be just limited to a Mandalorian, but the scope of the game could cover bounty hunting in general. The first time this was implied was back in January when Jason Schreier, who is known in the industry for having sources and scope on undisclosed games, suggested that such a game is in development. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is when we all saw The Mandalorian, the first thing that came to mind was that this could be turned into a video game easily. We remember the armor upgrades, the gun upgrades, the missions he got, everything surrounding the game just felt like a video game, which was great. So we knew some developer somewhere was already thinking about that and would see the massive success a game like that could bring to them. Well, it looks like Xbox saw that promise and decided to contact Lucasfilm's games to purchase the rights to the game and have a first-party developer make it. And I can't explain just how big of a move this is for Xbox, especially when you look at the franchise Star Wars has spawned. Not to mention some of the games that have come out as of late for Star Wars hasn't been put in the most positive light. Minus, of course, Jedi Fallen Order, which is one of the best Star Wars games to ever come out. But I'm more talking about Battlefront or Battlefront 2 and all the bad press it got. But we have to point out that Star Wars games that actually take the time to be great and are given the time to develop could turn into massive franchises, which the article mentions right here. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a spin-off based on the popular Disney IP, and it ended up being one of the best-selling games of 2020. This also proved the potential of the Star Wars IP, which could have helped greenlit further projects. There is already a confirmation that Ubisoft is working on a new open-world Star Wars game in collaboration with Disney. EA had an exclusivity deal with Disney to use their Star Wars IP to develop video games, but after the announcement of the new Ubisoft Star Wars project, the door is wide open for other developers to make the IP for more projects. And this is where the new rumor comes in regarding a video game based on the Mandalorian TV show. And this is exactly what I was mentioning. We know that Star Wars is one of the biggest global franchises on the planet. It's loved by pretty much everyone around the world because it's such a popular story. And when Jedi Fallen Order came out, people bought that game like crazy, and it turned into one of the biggest franchises of last generation. You throw in EA kind of messing up games they made for it, and you could see Lucasfilm's games wanted to test their franchise with other developers. It's why we have a Ubisoft game in the works, and it's why we have this potential Xbox game in the works, which is not only hinted at by Jason Schreier, but it's also hinted at by pretty big insiders right here. This rumor comes courtesy of Xbox insider Ed, who has heard of this project being in development. While he was able to verify the existence of such a video game, it wasn't clear if this will be developed exclusively by Microsoft's first-party studio, just like Machine Games is doing with Indiana Jones. Here's what his tweet says after hinting at the Mandalorian game. There's a lot going on, and you could tell that he might have slipped up and didn't want to bring out this game or bring his sources in a bad light. Here's what's said. Okay, so a little bit of a whoopsie. Yeah, there's going to be a Mando game, but that's apparently not a Mando Funko. I might have just said something I wasn't supposed to yet. Hoping I didn't just burn my source. Got some apologizing to do. The rumor that this game is being worked on comes from Matt of Last Stand Media, who along with Colin Moriarty talked about the projects taken by Microsoft in a podcast. Matt mentions that just like Sony is working with Marvel on various properties like Marvel Spider-Man, Microsoft might be working with Lucasfilms, as evident with the Indiana Jones partnership taken by Machine Games. There is another project based on the Lucasfilm IP, and while Matt didn't mention what it could be, the new rumor suggests that perhaps this could be based on the Mandalorian Bounty Hunter game. Now, I just have to say, this is just the start of the insiders talking about this game, and the fact that Microsoft is working on this game in-house, and if you don't know Nick as an insider, I would suggest you look into him because he's been right multiple times and has hinted at big Xbox news well in advance of their reveal. So the information brought by him is pretty spot on. And when you throw in Matt from Last Stand Media and Colin Moriarty, you can see that this is a project Xbox is trying to lock down as fast as possible. And the one thing that really puts this whole thing in perspective is that Xbox knows that Sony having Marvel Spider-Man on their platform as an exclusive is a huge boost for them. Because while God of War is one of my favorite games of all time and a must-play for anyone that's a gamer, the biggest franchise of last generation for the PS4 was the Spider-Man game that sold like crazy. I mean, I didn't even get a PS4 until I was able to grab the PS4 Pro Spider-Man edition when it released. And as a huge comic book reader and huge comic book supporter, I had to play that Spider-Man game no matter what. And I bet that's something that Sony will continue to use when it comes to Marvel and their exclusive deal with the web slinger, so they can propel the PS5 to even greater heights. This shows that Xbox understands that sometimes a huge game is going to sell a lot of consoles, but have a huge game with a known franchise attached to it will do wonders, especially if that franchise is world renowned and loved by pretty much everyone. That's exactly what Star Wars could do for them. It could push the Xbox exclusive first-party games to another level and help push Xbox Game Pass to even more gamers across the world. And to make this rumor even more interesting, Jeff Grubb, who's a well-known insider that is outspoken, hints that a first-party game studio could be making the game as we speak. Here's what's said. What's most interesting, however, is that according to Grubb, the Coalition is also currently working on a third project, which according to him is likely a new IP. Grubb says that he's heard rumors that it could be a Star Wars game, but hasn't been able to confirm that information, while he's also unsure if this game will launch before or after the next Gears. Okay, this is some of the most interesting news out of everything that's being reported about this potential Star Wars game. First of all, the Coalition is one of the best, if not the best development studio at Xbox Game Studios. What people don't know is that Gears 4 and 5 plus Gears Tactics were games that helped shape Xbox's generation. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Last generation, people made fun of Xbox for only having Gears, Halo, and Forza. Yet, when we take a step back, we can see that only one Halo game released last generation. And Forza, of course, had some great games that helped Xbox. But as for action, adventure, and shooters, Gears 4 and 5 dominated Xbox and helped push the Xbox One S and also helped push the Xbox Series X, showing off some of the Xbox Series X patches we were getting. The team there even brought out Hivebusters, which was an expansion campaign for Gears 5 that really helped show the Series X graphics and performance like no other game could. This team is insane and are still working on Gears 6, yet for some time now, a lot of people have asked for the Coalition to expand their team and maybe make another IP that people could enjoy, or have them put Gears on the side and make a new game. Well, it's looking like they could be expanding like crazy and not only make Gears 6, but also make a brand new Star Wars game. And I know that this is just a rumor, but I have to admit that this was the first developer within Xbox Game Studios that I would put to make the Star Wars game. Because you want the best people on this game because it's one of the biggest franchises Xbox would make in regards to exclusives. It's why Sony gave Insomniac Games the rights to make Spider-Man, because they trusted them and realized that they were a crazy talented studio. That's where the Coalition comes into play, and why I think they would be the perfect studio to make a Star Wars Mandalorian game. Now, of course, take this all with a grain of salt, but from the leaks and all the insiders talking about this, I have a feeling that this is happening, and we'll be getting an announcement of the game in the next couple of years. Don't expect this announcement to come during the summer or next year. Expect to see this in 2 years, which would give whatever developer making the game the time to build a team and get everything in order. Either way, I'm excited for this, and I can't wait to see what Xbox creates in the Star Wars universe, because it's the perfect franchise to compete with Sony versus Spider-Man. But enough of what I think about this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Is Xbox taking a Star Wars franchise from Sony? Will Sony call Lucasfilm Games to strike a deal themselves? Is the coalition working on this game? Would you love a Mandalorian game? What other franchise should Xbox go after? Is Star Wars the perfect franchise to compete with Sony's Spider-Man? Would this influence you to buy an Xbox Series X? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I'm playing Returnal, and that game is a lot of fun, but actually pretty challenging. I'm really enjoying mixing matching guns, seeing what builds I want, finding and exploring all of the new nuances in the game, and kind of finding new caves. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The combat can be really cool, but you need to be precise. So I'm really enjoying that. I think it's a great game for the PS5 and something extremely different. It really does feel like a different game. Like if you die or you make a mistake, it's over. You move on and you have to start all over. So yeah, I like the risk factor. I like the anxiety it basically gives me so I don't die, and it's a really fun game. Outside of that, again, I'm playing Rocket League and Outriders and all those other games, but truthfully, I'm going to try to beat Returnal. I'm going to try to get through it, and if I can't, hey, at least I gave it a try. I bought it, pre-ordered it, and I'm enjoying the game so far. I really recommend it. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your PS5, your Xbox, or are you on PC? Or are you waiting for one of the new games coming out this month, which there's a lot of them? Go down below and let me know. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.